Iran vows revenge after ambassador expelled by Australia. What comes next now? Breaking news. Iran is vowing retaliation after Australia took the dramatic step of expelling Tehran's ambassador. What does this mean for global diplomacy, and could this be the spark that drags allies from Washington to Beijing into yet another crisis? The consequences could be far bigger than they appear. Stay with us. Just hours ago, Canberra announced it was expelling Iran's ambassador, accusing Tehran of undermining international norms and threatening Australia's security interests. Iran has wasted no time, promising reciprocal action and warning that Australia will pay a diplomatic price. This is not just a symbolic move. Expelling an ambassador is the highest form of diplomatic protest short of cutting ties entirely. It's rare, it's severe, and it signals that relations are heading into dangerous territory. At first glance, this might look like a bilateral spat, Canberra versus Tehran. But scratch beneath the surface, and you'll see why this matters far beyond Australia's shores. Australia is part of the Five Eyes Alliance, a close-knit intelligence-sharing pact with the United States, the UK, Canada, and New Zealand. So when Canberra acts, it often reflects broader Western concerns. For Iran, this is not just about one envoy. It's about Western pressure closing in, from sanctions to military confrontations in the Gulf to covert cyber campaigns. Iran's regime thrives on projecting defiance. By vowing retaliation, Tehran is signaling both to its people and the world, we will not be humiliated. But here's the danger. Retaliation could mean many things. Expelling Australia's envoy in Tehran is almost certain. But what if Iran goes further? Restricting Australian trade in the region. Targeting Western ships in the Gulf, something Iran has done before. Or aligning more closely with China and Russia, turning this diplomatic rift into a geopolitical showdown. For Australia, the stakes are equally high. Canberra is trying to assert itself as a regional power, standing shoulder to shoulder with Washington, but that risks making it a direct target for Iran's fury. This crisis comes at a volatile moment. In the Middle East, Israel and Gaza remain on a knife's edge. In Europe, Russia's war in Ukraine is destabilizing NATO. And in the Indo-Pacific, tensions over Taiwan and the South China Sea are climbing. Into this storm, add an Iran-Australia confrontation. Suddenly, you're not just talking about a diplomatic spat. You're talking about alliances being tested, supply chains disrupted, and a new flashpoint emerging between East and West. The United Nations will likely call for restraint, but with China hosting both President Putin and UN Secretary-General Guterres this week, the optics are striking. The world's power centers are being redrawn, and middle powers like Australia are being forced to pick sides. So what happens next? Expect Tehran to expel Australia's envoy in the coming hours or days. Expect fiery rhetoric on both sides, as Iran tries to rally its allies and Australia leans on Washington for support. And expect markets, especially oil, to react nervously, as any confrontation with Iran raises the risk of Gulf shipping disruptions. The question is, will this be contained to diplomatic tit for tat, or will it escalate into yet another front in the global contest between authoritarian regimes and Western democracies? This is not just about one ambassador. It's about whether the fragile balance of global power can hold in 2025. Do you think Iran's retaliation will stop at diplomacy, or will it spill into military or economic confrontation? Let us know in the comments below, and if you want the real story behind the headlines, hit like, subscribe, and join us here at North Star, where we cut through the noise and show you what mainstream media won't.